The Great Reset. It's going to happen. And I think it's a great idea. So the use of force is unlikely. You have to get the people to clamor for the solution you offer. It's got to be seductively simple, easy to understand, and offer amazing benefits to everyone. So, how? First, you have to wipe all electronic records of debt and assets. It doesn't matter how it happens as long as it happens. Cyber war, hacking, AI, a solar burp, electromagnetic pulse, something will happen. All debts will be gone. No ATMs. Pandemonium. Retirement, savings, mortgages gone. Emergency measures will be needed. They'll introduce the central bank digital currency. My guess is the Fed's going to lose the ability to sell U.S. treasuries. That'll make all the dollars worthless. It takes on the banking cartels that everybody likes, or everybody wants those taken on. And it's direct with the U.S. Treasury, so it's no longer through the Fed. It sounds great. The government now sees every dollar, everywhere it's spent, it's secure, it's linked, as are you. There's no question that the powers behind the throne think there's way too many people. A lot of us have to go. It doesn't matter how, as long as it happens. Bioweapons, war, civil war, disease, food and water shortages, all of them serve the same goal: elimination of people. They've been absolutely clear about this since the very beginning, and it's too late to avoid. There's a hook in our collective jaw, and we're coming along like it or not. People do not understand the inevitable. That is what is missing in analysis today. The Russian coup or PSYOP, it doesn't matter. Either side winning advances the objective of a hot war between NATO and Russia, SEATO and China, and Iran and Israel. They want, they need this to happen. Politics is theater. Listen to what I'm telling you. There can be no superpower in the new world. It's going to be very democratic. Smaller states that administer themselves. And there'll be a global council to make sure no country, no one country ever gets too big to challenge the system. Every country will break apart, including the USA. China's going to fracture. Most of Southeast Asia will cease to exist in the next 30 years from population collapse. This is what caused the abandoned cities in Mexico and South America. We have an expected climate collapse. We have disease. It leads to population collapse. It's history. It's inevitable. Finally, religious faiths will need to be destroyed. Culture wars have increased divisions to the point of fracture already. The American church's quest for relevance has made them irrelevant. Islam's going to eat itself. So, how do you kill faith? You kill it with reason. Disclosures galore. Those disclosures will be from history. Those disclosures will be extraterrestrial, whatever. I don't want any of these things to happen, but I'm resigned to them. The time for fighting all of this was probably before the 1980s, probably in the 1960s. The political players, the obedient soldiers, the agents provocateurs, and the citizen protesters, they're all pawns and they all advance a goal, and it just is what it is. What most Americans fail to understand is we've been living in World War III for some time now. It's a totally different thing than we can imagine. It's financial, technological, philosophical, psychological, social, so much more. And everything that is going on in the world right now is because of China. The Chinese Communist Party is the most visible arm of the single greatest threat to humanity that has likely ever existed. They think in centuries. They've got a low national self esteem problem and they are racist as fuck. They hate the West racially. Caucasians are the problem. They teach an entirely separate evolution from Peking Man. They are worse than the Nazis were. The CCP publicly disclosed, the Chinese Communist Party publicly disclosed and discussed creating a genetic weapon back in 2015. They publicly talked about their corruption of American government officials and media figures. The Belt and Road Initiative, it's part of that war. BRICS, it's part of that war. All of the PSYOPs, funding of BLM, funding of Antifa, organizational structures, the Chinese seeds from years ago, the phone calls for the car warranties that wouldn't stop. These are all been PSYOP campaigns for the Chinese 3F and 13579 plans, which is to destroy the U.S. There are no easy answers. There isn't even a good side versus bad side right now. There's internal wars inside our own governments. For us, the DOJ, the CIA, the DOD, the FBI. And then there's the geopolitical posturing between the nations. There's no way to make sense of this in normal circumstances. And our free press is broken, and all it does is confuse us more. So make no mistake as you watch the news, things are never, ever, ever, and I mean never, how they are portrayed. The agenda's not going to stop unless it's stopped, and that's why it's not public. So you can't fight it. If you can't find it, you can't fight it. So that's the plan. When you glimpse the plan, it kind of helps make sense of the world today, and it sucks. And that's the Great Reset.